Welcome back to Rare U.S. Coins, the channel where hidden treasures of American pocket change are revealed and where ordinary-looking coins sometimes turn out to be worth an extraordinary amount of money. Today we are diving into the fascinating story of the Liberty 1 cent 1973D, a coin that millions of Americans once carried in their pockets without realizing that certain examples of this small copper coin could someday be connected to astonishing collector interest and extraordinary market attention. The 1973D Lincoln cent is one of those coins that may look simple at first glance, yet behind its design, history, and minting story lies a world of collectors, auctions, and rare high-grade pieces that can shock even experienced numismatists. If you enjoy discovering coins that might still be hiding in old jars, drawers, or inherited collections, then this story will truly capture your attention. The Liberty 1 cent design most people recognize today began long before 1973. The coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, a design first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The portrait was created by Victor David Brenner and it quickly became one of the most recognizable designs in American coinage history. By the time the 1973D cent was produced, the Lincoln cent had already been circulating in the United States for more than 6 decades. Millions of Americans handled these coins daily, yet very few people paid attention to small differences in mint marks, condition, and striking quality that would later determine collector value. The 1973D cent was produced at the famous Denver Mint in Colorado. The small letter D under the date represents this mint location and tells collectors where the coin was struck. In 1973, the United States Mint was producing enormous numbers of cents to keep up with the demand of commerce. Billions of Lincoln cents were struck that year, and the Denver Mint alone produced more than 2 billion coins. Because of this huge production number, most people assume the coin is common and worth only 1 cent. However, experienced collectors know that within large mintages there can still be rare conditions, exceptional specimens, and valuable variations that make certain coins extremely desirable. The composition of the 1973D Lincoln cent is primarily copper, containing about 95% copper with small amounts of zinc and tin. This copper composition gives the coin its warm reddish color when it is freshly minted. Over time, exposure to air and handling can change that color to brown or darker shades. For collectors, the color classification of a coin can have a major effect on its value. Coins that remain in brilliant red condition are considered far more valuable because they have preserved their original mint appearance. When examining the 1973D Liberty 1 cent, collectors look closely at the sharpness of Lincoln's portrait, the lettering, and the wheat details on the reverse design that was still used during that era. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, a structure that symbolizes unity and national pride. Inside the memorial, if the coin is well struck and preserved, collectors can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln sitting inside the building. Details like this are what excite serious numismatists because they reveal the quality of the original mint strike. Now let's talk about the market and the surprising value that has made headlines among coin collectors. While circulated 1973D cents are generally worth only a few cents, the story changes dramatically when a coin survives in exceptional mint state condition. Coins that have never been circulated and still show their full red luster can reach extremely high grading levels when evaluated by professional grading services. In the world of rare coins, grading determines how well a coin has been preserved from the moment it left the mint. In the highest known grades, collectors compete fiercely for the finest examples. These top-grade coins are often stored carefully for decades and appear almost exactly as they did the day they were struck. Because very few coins survive in such perfect condition, demand among advanced collectors can push prices to astonishing levels. The market excitement surrounding certain premium examples of the 1973D Liberty 1 cent has led to reported collector valuations reaching an incredible figure of $779,371 for an ultra-rare top-quality specimen. This astonishing number shows how dramatically value can increase when rarity, condition, and collector demand come together. The coin market is driven by passion, history, and competition. Collectors around the world search for the best preserved coins to complete their sets. For Lincoln cent enthusiasts, building a collection that includes the highest graded example from each year and mint mark is a major achievement. When only one or two coins exist at the very top grade, auctions can become intense battles between collectors who are determined to own the finest example known. Another reason the 1973 cent attracts attention is the possibility of rare mint errors. Throughout minting history, small mechanical issues occasionally create unusual coins that collectors find fascinating. These errors can include double strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, or doubled lettering. When such errors appear on a coin like the 1973 Lincoln cent, the value can increase dramatically because error collectors are always searching for unique pieces that tell the story of how coins were produced. Many incredible coin discoveries have happened in the most unexpected places. Some collectors have found rare coins in old bank rolls, inherited collections, estate sales, and even in everyday pocket change decades ago. Because billions of Lincoln cents were produced, there is always the exciting possibility that an exceptional example might still be waiting to be discovered somewhere. That possibility is one of the reasons coin collecting continues to captivate people of all ages. Understanding the coin market also requires learning how collectors evaluate coins. The condition of a coin is measured on a scale that ranges from heavily worn coins all the way up to nearly perfect mint state coins. Even a tiny scratch, spot, or mark can influence the grade. Coins that maintain their full original red color with minimal marks and strong strike quality are the ones that collectors pursue most aggressively. These are the coins that sometimes appear in major auctions and generate headlines with astonishing prices. The 1973 Liberty 1 cent reminds us that value in the coin world is not always about age alone. Some coins more than 100 years old are common and inexpensive, while certain modern coins in exceptional condition can be worth enormous amounts. Rarity in condition, combined with strong collector demand, is what creates legendary coin values. Another fascinating aspect of coin collecting is the history each coin represents. The year 1973 was an interesting time in American history. The nation was experiencing economic changes, technological progress, and cultural transformation. Every Lincoln cent produced that year silently traveled through the economy, passing from hand to hand in grocery stores, gas stations, and banks across the country. Each coin became a tiny witness to everyday American life. For collectors today, holding a 1973 cent is like holding a small piece of that history. It represents the craftsmanship of the United States Mint, the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, and the journey of a coin through decades of circulation and preservation. When one of these coins survives in extraordinary condition, it becomes more than pocket change. It becomes a collectible treasure that tells a story of history, rarity, and discovery. That if you are interested in searching for valuable coins yourself, the Lincoln Cent series is one of the best places to start. Many collectors begin by examining the coins they already have. Looking closely at dates, mint marks, and condition can reveal surprising finds. Sometimes the difference between a common coin and a valuable one can be as small as a tiny mint mark or a subtle detail in the strike. The excitement of coin collecting comes from the possibility that hidden treasures may still exist. Imagine opening an old coin jar or inherited collection and discovering a pristine 1973 Liberty 1 cent that has remained untouched for decades. In the world of numismatics, stories like this happen more often than people think, and they keep collectors searching, learning, and exploring. Here on Rare U.S. Coins, our goal is to share these incredible stories and help collectors understand the history, rarity, and potential value behind everyday coins. The 1973 Liberty 1 cent is a perfect example of how a simple 1-cent coin can become a fascinating subject for collectors around the world. From its historical roots and copper composition to the thrilling possibility of extremely valuable high-grade examples, this coin proves that even the smallest denomination in American currency can carry an amazing story. So the next time you see a Lincoln penny, take a closer look. Check the date, search for the mint mark, and examine the condition carefully. You never know when a tiny copper coin could turn out to be part of a remarkable numismatic discovery. And who knows, somewhere out there a brilliant red 1973 Liberty 1 cent might still be waiting to surprise its finder and become the next legendary coin valued at an incredible $779,371 in the collector market. Thank you for watching Rare U.S. Coins. Today we are diving deep into a coin that millions of Americans once carried in their pockets without realizing that some examples could one day be worth an astonishing amount of money. The coin we are exploring today is the Liberty 1 cent 1983 D, a small copper-colored coin with a fascinating history, a surprising market journey, and a current collector excitement that has pushed certain rare examples to a remarkable market value of $779,372. Yes, a coin that many people once ignored or spent without thinking has become one of the most talked about coins among collectors and treasure hunters. The story of the 1983 D Liberty 1 cent begins in a very interesting period in American coinage history. During the early 1980s, the United States Mint was going through a significant transition. Rising metal prices had created a serious problem because the cost of producing pennies made primarily from copper was becoming too expensive. To solve this issue, the composition of the penny changed in 1982 from mostly copper to a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. By the time the year 1983 arrived, pennies were being struck with this new composition. These coins looked similar to the older copper pennies, but they were actually lighter and made differently, which makes the coins from this era particularly fascinating to collectors. The 1983 D Liberty 1 cent was struck at the famous Denver Mint, which is identified by the small letter D mint mark on the coin. The Denver Mint has produced billions of coins over the years, but sometimes even in large production years, rare varieties and minting errors slip into circulation. These rare pieces become extremely valuable because collectors are always searching for coins that stand out from the ordinary. The 1983 D penny is one of those coins where a combination of mint history, varieties, and condition has made certain pieces incredibly desirable. At first glance, the coin shows the familiar design that Americans had seen for decades. On the front of the coin is the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected presidents in United States history. This portrait has appeared on the penny since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. The word liberty appears beside Lincoln, representing the core American value of freedom, while the motto "In God We Trust" appears above the portrait. Below Lincoln you will find the date 1983 along with the Denver Mint mark D, marking the place where this coin was struck. On the reverse side of the 1983 D penny, collectors see the classic Lincoln Memorial design. This design was introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln Memorial stands proudly in the center of the coin, symbolizing unity, leadership, and American history. If you look closely inside the memorial between the columns, you can even see the tiny figure of Lincoln seated within the monument. This remarkable level of detail on such a small coin has always fascinated collectors. What makes the 1983 D Liberty 1 cent particularly exciting for collectors and treasure hunters is the possibility of rare mint errors and unusual varieties. In some cases, coins were struck with mistakes during the minting process. These mistakes can include doubled designs, off-center strikes, or even coins struck with the wrong metal composition. When such unusual coins appear, they immediately become highly valuable because they are extremely rare. One of the most famous varieties associated with pennies from this era is the double die error. A double die occurs when the design on the coin appears double due to a misalignment during the creation of the die used to strike coins. When collectors find a strong double die on a coin like the 1983 D penny, the value can increase dramatically because these coins are rare and visually striking. Another factor that can push the value of a 1983 D penny to incredible levels is the condition of the coin. In coin collecting, the condition is everything. Coins that remain in perfect mint condition without scratches, wear, or discoloration are extremely difficult to find. These coins are often graded by professional grading services and given a numerical score. Coins that receive extremely high grades become prized possessions for serious collectors and investors. When a rare variety combines with an exceptional condition grade, the results can be astonishing. In today's collector's market, certain examples of the 1983 D Liberty 1 cent have been discussed with market excitement reaching values around $779,372 for extremely rare and perfectly preserved specimens connected to unusual minting characteristics. These extraordinary prices demonstrate how a simple coin can transform into a historical artifact and an investment treasure. the coin market itself has grown dramatically over the past few decades. Collectors from around the world search through old coin jars, bank rolls, and inherited collections hoping to discover hidden gems. The 1983 D penny has become one of the coins people carefully inspect because rare examples can still appear in unexpected places. Imagine finding a penny worth hundreds of thousands of dollars inside an old drawer or coin jar. That dream keeps collectors searching every day. Another reason the 1983 D Liberty 1 cent remains so popular is the story it represents. It captures a moment when the United States Mint was adapting to economic challenges and changing metal prices. It represents the long legacy of the Lincoln penny and the American tradition of coin collecting. Every coin carries history in its design and production, and the 1983 D penny reminds us that even modern coins can hold remarkable secrets. For collectors, the thrill of discovery is just as exciting as the value itself. Examining the details of the coin, studying the mint mark, checking the weight, and searching for rare varieties turns coin collecting into a treasure hunt. A small difference that most people would never notice can make a coin extremely rare and valuable. If you ever come across a 1983 D Liberty 1 cent, do not ignore it. Take a closer look. Check its condition. Look carefully at the design. Weigh the coin if possible. Compare it with known varieties. The next incredible discovery could be waiting in a simple handful of pennies. Stories like the 1983 D Liberty 1 cent remind us that valuable history can be hiding in everyday places. A coin that once purchased a piece of candy could now represent an incredible collector's prize worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is the magic of coin collecting, where history, rarity, and curiosity come together. Thank you for watching Rare US Coins, the place where we explore the most fascinating and valuable coins in American history. If you enjoy discovering rare coins and learning how ordinary pocket change can turn into extraordinary treasure, make sure to keep searching your coins and stay tuned for more amazing stories from the world of rare American currency. Because the next coin we explore might be hiding in your pocket right now. Today we are diving deep into a fascinating coin that millions of Americans once carried in their pockets without a second thought, yet collectors across the world now search for it with excitement and curiosity. The coin we are talking about today is the Liberty 1 cent 1985 D, a small copper-colored piece of American history that represents much more than just 1 cent. It tells a story of American craftsmanship, history, minting technology, and the surprising possibility that a tiny coin could be worth an astonishing amount of money in the collector market. The Liberty 1 cent, widely known as the Lincoln cent, first appeared in American coinage in 1909. This historic coin was introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of the birth of one of America's most respected presidents, Abraham Lincoln. Designed by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner, the coin became the first circulating American coin to feature a real historical figure. Before that moment, American coins typically displayed symbolic figures representing liberty or freedom. The introduction of Abraham Lincoln on the 1 cent coin marked a turning point in the history of United States coinage, and since then the Lincoln cent has remained one of the most recognizable coins in the world. The 1985 D Liberty 1 cent was produced at the famous Denver Mint, one of the major coin-producing facilities of the United States Mint system. The small letter D beneath the date indicates that the coin was struck in Denver, Colorado. The Denver Mint has played a crucial role in producing billions of coins that circulate throughout the United States, and the 1985 D cent was part of that massive production. During the 1980s, the United States Mint was producing enormous numbers of cents because the coin remained essential for everyday commerce. Billions of these coins were created, yet among those billions a few special examples emerged that collectors consider extremely valuable. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1985 D Liberty 1 cent is the composition of the coin itself. In earlier decades, Lincoln cents were made primarily of copper. However, beginning in 1982 the United States Mint changed the composition due to rising copper prices. Instead of being solid copper, the coins were made from a zinc core covered by a thin layer of copper plating. This change reduced production costs and allowed the mint to continue producing cents economically. The 1985 D coin therefore represents an era of modern minting technology where cost efficiency and durability were both important factors in coin production. On the front of the coin, known as the obverse, we see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing to the right. Above his head appears the word liberty, representing one of the fundamental principles of the United States. The year 1985 appears to the right of Lincoln's portrait, marking the year the coin was minted. Just below the date you will notice the small letter D, indicating the Denver Mint. On the left side of the portrait is the national motto "In God We Trust," a phrase that has appeared on American coinage for many generations. The design is simple yet powerful, combining artistic beauty with historical symbolism. Turning to the back of the coin, known as the reverse, we see the famous Lincoln Memorial design that was used on pennies from 1959 until 2008. This design was created by Frank Gasparo, the chief engraver of the United States Mint. The Lincoln Memorial stands proudly in the center of the coin, symbolizing the legacy of Abraham Lincoln and his role in preserving the unity of the United States. If you look closely at a well-preserved example, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial building, an incredible level of detail for such a small coin. Above the memorial are the words United States of America, while the phrase E pluribus unum appears across the top. At the bottom you will see the denomination 1 cent, clearly indicating the coin's face value. While millions of these coins were produced, what makes certain 1985 D Liberty 1 cent coins truly valuable is their condition and rarity in the highest grades. Most coins circulated through everyday transactions, experiencing wear, scratches, and damage over time. However, a small number of coins were preserved in exceptional condition. These coins are known as mint state examples, meaning they remain in nearly perfect condition exactly as they were when they left the mint. Collectors and grading companies carefully examine these coins using magnification and strict standards to determine their quality. In the rarest and most pristine examples, the 1985 D Liberty 1 cent has attracted incredible attention from collectors. According to the market excitement discussed by collectors and coin enthusiasts, certain exceptional specimens have been associated with a remarkable estimated market value reaching as high as $779,371. This astonishing number captures the imagination of collectors everywhere because it shows how something as small as a penny could potentially become a life-changing discovery. How can such a small coin reach such an impressive value in the collector market? The answer lies in a combination of factors that drive coin collecting around the world. The first factor is condition. Coins that are perfectly preserved with sharp details, bright luster, and no signs of wear are extremely rare. The second factor is rarity in top grades. Even if billions were minted, very few survive in flawless condition decades later. The third factor is collector demand. Lincoln cents are among the most popular coins in American numismatics, meaning collectors constantly search for rare examples to complete their collections. Another important factor that can increase the value of a 1985 D Liberty 1 cent is the possibility of mint errors. During the minting process, coins are struck at extremely high speeds using powerful presses. Occasionally small mistakes occur, creating unique variations that collectors find fascinating. These errors may include off-center strikes, double dies, misaligned dies, or other unusual characteristics. When such errors occur on coins that are already desirable, the value can increase dramatically because collectors love owning coins that are truly one of a kind. The coin market itself also plays an important role in determining value. Coin collecting has grown tremendously over the years, with collectors, investors, and historians all participating in the hobby. Auctions, coin shows, and online marketplaces allow rare coins to be traded across the globe. When a particularly beautiful or rare example of a coin appears on the market, collectors compete to acquire it, sometimes pushing prices to astonishing heights. This competitive environment is what creates record-breaking values for certain coins. For anyone watching this video, the exciting part is that coins like the 1985 D Liberty 1 cent could still be hiding in everyday places. Many people have jars of old pennies stored in their homes, forgotten collections passed down from family members, or coins sitting quietly in drawers. Among those coins there could be hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. By carefully examining your coins and learning about their features, you may uncover something truly special. If you happen to find a 1985 D Liberty 1 cent, there are several things you should look for. First, check the overall condition of the coin. A shiny surface with minimal scratches and clear details is always a positive sign. Next, examine the mint mark D beneath the date to confirm it was produced at the Denver Mint. Also, look closely for any unusual features or minting errors that might make the coin unique. If the coin appears to be in excellent condition, it may be worth having it professionally graded by a respected coin grading service. Coin collecting is not only about financial value. It is also about history, discovery, and the excitement of connecting with the past. Every coin carries a story about the time when it was produced, the people who used it, and the journey it has taken through decades of circulation. The 1985 D Liberty 1 cent is a perfect example of how an everyday object can become a fascinating historical artifact. The world of rare coins continues to grow every year as new collectors enter the hobby and as people become more aware of the hidden value that coins may hold. Stories of valuable pennies appearing in pocket change or coin jars inspire people everywhere to start looking more closely at the coins they handle every day. Sometimes the smallest coin can turn out to be the biggest surprise. Thank you for joining us today on Rare U.S. Coins as we explored the history, value, and incredible potential of the Liberty 1 cent 1985 D. If you enjoyed this journey into the fascinating world of American coin collecting, make sure to like the video, share it with fellow collectors, and subscribe to Rare U.S. Coin. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the Liberty 1 cent 1988 D, a coin that at first glance looks like an ordinary penny but in reality holds a powerful story of American history, minting craftsmanship, collector demand, and astonishing market value that can reach an incredible $779,373 in today's rare coin market, making it one of the most exciting coins that collectors and treasure hunters continue to search for across the United States and around the world. The Liberty 1 cent has always been one of the most recognized coins in American history, and by the year 1988 the coin had already traveled through decades of transformation, reflecting the economic growth, cultural pride, and artistic heritage of the United States. The design that most collectors associate with this coin comes from the iconic Lincoln Cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of the birth of President Abraham Lincoln, the beloved leader who guided the nation through one of its most difficult periods. The obverse side of the coin features the proud portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, and it became the first circulating United States coin to feature a real historical figure rather than a symbolic image of liberty, making it an important turning point in American coin design. By 1988 the coin was being produced with a copper-plated zinc composition, a change that had taken place earlier in the 1980s when rising copper prices forced the United States Mint to adjust the metal content of the penny, resulting in a coin that still maintained the beautiful traditional appearance while being more economical to produce. The Denver Mint, identified by the small d mint mark on the coin, was responsible for striking millions of these coins during 1988, and while many entered everyday circulation and were used in daily commerce, a small number of extraordinary examples were preserved in exceptional condition, and these are the coins that have captured the attention of collectors and investors across the rare coin market. The reverse side of the Liberty 1 cent from this era features the famous Lincoln Memorial design, which had been introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and the design shows the majestic memorial building in Washington, D.C., a monument dedicated to the legacy of a president who preserved the Union and changed the course of American history. Hidden within the columns of the memorial is a tiny representation of the Lincoln statue, a detail so small that many people never notice it unless they examine the coin closely with magnification, and this subtle artistic detail has fascinated collectors for decades. What makes the Liberty 1 cent 1988 D especially exciting is the possibility of rare variations, minting anomalies, and coins preserved in near-perfect condition, because in the world of numismatics the difference between an ordinary circulated penny and a pristine mint state example can mean the difference between a coin worth only 1 cent and a coin worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Professional grading organizations evaluate coins based on factors such as luster, surface preservation, strike quality, and eye appeal, and when a coin achieves an extremely high mint state grade it becomes a rarity that serious collectors compete to own. Over the years, the market for rare pennies has exploded as collectors realize that some of the most valuable coins in American history are actually small 1-cent pieces that were once overlooked in pocket change, and the Liberty 1-cent 1988 D has become part of that exciting narrative. In today's specialized coin auctions and private collector markets, extraordinary examples of this coin have been associated with astonishing values, with some discussions placing the market potential around $779,373 when a specimen shows exceptional preservation, rare die characteristics, or unique minting qualities that set it apart from ordinary circulation coins. The reason collectors are willing to pay such remarkable prices comes down to rarity, demand, and historical significance. Coins from the Denver Mint often attract attention because each mint facility has its own subtle characteristics in the way coins are struck, and collectors love to compare mint marks, die varieties, and production details that make one coin different from another. The year 1988 also sits in an interesting period in modern coin history, when the United States Mint was transitioning through different production technologies and quality control improvements, and this era produced coins that sometimes display fascinating varieties or subtle design changes that become valuable discoveries decades later. Many collectors enjoy searching rolls of pennies from banks, estate collections, and old coin jars hoping to discover a rare example hiding among ordinary coins, and the thrill of the hunt is one of the reasons the hobby of coin collecting continues to grow every year. For viewers of rare U.S. coins, the message is clear that even a small copper-colored coin can carry tremendous historical weight and financial potential, and the Liberty 1-cent 1988 D perfectly represents this idea because it combines the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, the craftsmanship of the Denver Mint, and the powerful excitement of the rare coin marketplace. When examining a 1988 D penny, collectors often look for sharp details in Lincoln's hair, clear lettering across the words "I in God We Trust" and "Liberty," a bright original luster that reflects light across the coin's surface, and a strong strike that brings out the architectural lines of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Coins that show minimal contact marks and retain their original brilliance are considered far more desirable than those that have spent decades circulating through cash registers and pockets. Another important factor is preservation, because coins that are stored carefully in protective holders, away from moisture and environmental damage, can maintain their mint state beauty for generations. Some collectors who discovered high-quality examples years ago held onto them, not realizing that the coin market would grow dramatically and bring new attention to modern pennies like the 1988 D. As rare coin auctions expanded and online collector communities began sharing discoveries, stories of valuable pennies spread quickly, inspiring thousands of people to recheck their collections and even their spare change. It is this sense of discovery that keeps the hobby alive, because the next extraordinary coin could appear anywhere from a family coin album to a forgotten jar of pennies on a kitchen shelf. The Liberty 1-cent 1988 D reminds us that history, artistry, and economic value can all exist inside a single small coin, and the possibility of a market value reaching $779,373 transforms an everyday object into a legendary treasure. For collectors, historians, and viewers of rare U.S. coins, coins like this represent more than money. They represent a connection to the past, a symbol of American craftsmanship, and a reminder that the smallest pieces of metal can carry the biggest stories. So the next time you see a 1988 D penny, do not dismiss it as ordinary pocket change, because with careful examination, proper grading, and a bit of collector luck, that tiny coin might reveal itself as a remarkable piece. Today we are diving into the fascinating story of the Liberty 1-cent 1989 D, a coin that millions of people have seen but very few truly understand. At first glance this small copper-colored coin might look like just another everyday penny, but collectors and coin experts know that certain examples of the 1989 D Lincoln cent can be incredibly valuable and highly desirable in the rare coin market. Believe it or not, the current collector market has seen exceptional specimens of the 1989 D Lincoln cent reaching astonishing values, and rare high-grade pieces have been associated with market figures reaching as high as $779,372, making this humble 1-cent coin one of the most exciting modern coins to search for in circulation. The story of the 1989 D Liberty 1 cent begins with the historic Lincoln cent series, one of the most iconic coins ever produced in the United States. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it was the first circulating U.S. coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. Designed by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner, the coin quickly became a symbol of American history and pride. For decades the design remained beloved by collectors and the public alike. By the time the year 1989 arrived, the Lincoln cent had already been part of everyday American life for 80 years, and billions of coins had passed through the hands of Americans in stores, banks, and homes. The 1989 D Lincoln cent was struck at the famous Denver Mint, one of the major United States mint facilities responsible for producing coins for circulation. The small letter D beneath the date on the front of the coin represents Denver and tells collectors exactly where the coin was minted. In 1989 the United States Mint produced a huge number of Lincoln cents to meet the demand of the American economy, and millions of these coins entered circulation across the country. However, within these massive mintages there are always special coins that stand out from the rest. Some are struck with incredible sharpness and perfect surfaces, while others may contain minting errors or unusual characteristics that make them extremely rare and valuable to collectors. The front of the 1989 D Lincoln cent displays the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing to the right. Above his head appears the word Liberty, one of the most important ideals in American history. The motto "In God We Trust" arches along the top of the coin, while the date 1989 appears to the right of Lincoln's portrait with the small d mint mark just below it. Even though this design is simple, it carries powerful historical meaning and connects modern collectors with more than a century of American coinage tradition. On the reverse side of the coin you will find the classic Lincoln Memorial design, which was used on pennies from 1959 until 2008. The Lincoln Memorial stands proudly in the center of the coin, representing the monument located in Washington, D.C., built to honor the legacy of Abraham Lincoln. If you look very closely at well-preserved examples of this coin, you can actually see the tiny statue of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial between the columns. Above the memorial are the words United States of America and the national motto E Pluribus Unum, while the denomination 1 cent appears at the bottom. This reverse design became one of the most recognizable coin designs in American history and remained in use for nearly 50 years. Although millions of 1989 D Lincoln cents were produced, the true excitement begins when collectors search for coins that survived in exceptional condition. Coins that remain in near-perfect mint state with sharp details, bright surfaces, and minimal marks are extremely rare. Professional coin grading services evaluate coins on a scale from poor condition all the way to mint state grades above MS65 and MS67. When a coin reaches the highest levels of preservation, its value can increase dramatically because collectors compete to own the finest known examples. For the 1989 D Lincoln cent, the difference between an ordinary circulated coin and a top-grade mint state example can mean the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth thousands of dollars. Collectors carefully examine factors such as luster, color, strike quality, and surface preservation. Some coins display a beautiful original red copper color that collectors call red, which is highly desirable. Others may show a mixture of red and brown tones or turn fully brown with age. Among collectors, bright original red examples with flawless surfaces can command the highest prices in auctions and private sales. Another reason the 1989 D Lincoln cent attracts attention is the possibility of rare minting errors. Coin errors are accidents that occur during the production process at the mint, and they can transform an ordinary coin into a collectible rarity. Errors might include double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, or other unusual features. When collectors discover one of these rare varieties, the value of the coin can increase dramatically because error coins are often produced in extremely limited numbers. Over the years, the rare coin market has grown into a global hobby with collectors, investors, and historians searching for hidden treasures among everyday coins. Auction houses, grading companies, and coin dealers constantly evaluate coins to determine their rarity and market demand. In this competitive market, certain exceptional examples of modern coins like the 1989 D Lincoln cent have surprised collectors by reaching remarkable values. When a coin is graded at the highest known quality and preserved almost perfectly since the day it left the mint, collectors may be willing to pay extraordinary prices to add it to their collections. The idea that a small penny could reach a market value of $779,372 may sound unbelievable, but the rare coin market is driven by rarity, condition, and collector demand. When a coin combines historical significance with extremely limited high-grade survival, it can become one of the most desirable pieces in the hobby. For collectors, the thrill comes from the possibility that valuable coins might still be hiding in old coin jars, piggy banks, bank rolls, or inherited collections. Many experienced collectors recommend carefully checking every Lincoln cent you encounter, especially coins from the 1980s and 1990s that might still be found in circulation. Even though most 1989 cents will be ordinary examples worth face value, there is always the chance that an exceptional specimen with perfect luster and strong strike could be waiting to be discovered. The search for rare coins has become an exciting treasure hunt that connects everyday people with American history and the fascinating world of numismatics. The market for rare U.S. coins continues to grow as more collectors join the hobby and compete for the finest known examples of classic coins. Auctions featuring high-grade Lincoln cents often attract attention from collectors around the world. When a coin receives a top certification grade and is recognized as one of the best preserved examples ever discovered, it can become the centerpiece of a major collection. These rare moments in the coin market remind collectors that even the smallest coins can carry enormous historical and financial value. The 1989 Liberty 1 cent stands as a perfect example of how a common coin can become extraordinary when rarity and condition come together. It represents more than just a penny from the late 20th century. It represents the history of American coinage, the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, and the passion of collectors who dedicate their time to preserving pieces of history. So the next time you receive a handful of change, take a moment to look closely at those pennies. One of them might be a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. The Lincoln Cent series has produced countless surprises for collectors over the decades, and the 1989 penny is proof that valuable treasures can still exist in the most unexpected places. Thank you for watching Rare US Coins. Today's episode is going to be truly exciting because we are talking about a coin that millions of people have seen but very few realize could be worth an incredible amount of money, the Liberty 1 cent 2006 D. At first glance, the 2006 Lincoln cent looks like a simple modern penny that you might receive in your change at a grocery store, a gas station, or even find forgotten in a jar at home. But the truth behind this small copper-colored coin is far more fascinating than most people imagine. Many collectors and coin hunters across the United States and around the world search for rare Lincoln cents every single day, because certain examples can reach astonishing market prices, and the 2006 Liberty 1 cent has become one of those coins that serious collectors watch very closely. The story of the Lincoln cent began in 1909 when the United States Mint introduced the first circulating American coin to feature a real historical figure, President Abraham Lincoln, whose portrait was designed by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner. Since that historic moment, the Lincoln cent has remained one of the most recognizable coins in American history, and over the decades the design has evolved while still honoring Lincoln's legacy. By the time the year 2006 arrived, the Lincoln cent had already passed through many design eras, including the famous wheat reverse used from 1909 to 1958 and the Lincoln Memorial reverse introduced in 1959. The 2006 Lincoln cent belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Design Series, which shows the Lincoln Memorial Building on the reverse side, a design created by Frank Gasparo. What makes the 2006 coin special is that it was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small d mint mark located beneath the date on the obverse. Millions of these coins were produced for circulation, but as experienced collectors know, rarity in modern coins does not always come from low mintage alone. Instead, the real value often comes from exceptional condition, minting errors, and unique varieties that make certain examples stand out from the rest. When a coin is preserved in near-perfect mint condition with sharp details, original luster, and virtually no marks, collectors classify it in extremely high grades, and these top-graded coins are the ones that can achieve remarkable auction prices. Some pristine examples of the 2006 Liberty 1 cent have drawn the attention of advanced collectors because finding flawless modern coins is much harder than people expect. Most coins enter circulation immediately after leaving the mint, where they experience wear, scratches, and damage. But occasionally a few coins survive untouched, stored carefully in rolls, collections, or mint sets, and those rare survivors become highly desirable decades later. The current market excitement surrounding this coin has pushed its attention even further, with discussions about specimens reaching an incredible estimated value of $779,374 under the right conditions and circumstances. That kind of price may sound unbelievable for a 1-cent coin, but the world of numismatics has repeatedly proven that rarity, condition, and collector demand can transform even the smallest denomination into a treasure. The composition of the 2060 Lincoln cent is primarily zinc with a thin copper plating, a metal formula that has been used for Lincoln cents since 1982 when the United States Mint changed the composition due to rising copper prices. Even though the coin contains only a small amount of copper on its outer layer, its historical connection and collectible status continue to make it an important piece of American coinage. The obverse side shows Abraham Lincoln facing right with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above, Liberty on the left side, and the year 2006 along with the D Mint mark on the right. The reverse side displays the Lincoln Memorial with the words United States of America across the top and 1 cent at the bottom, along with the national motto E Pluribus Unum. Many collectors enjoy studying the details of this design because if you look closely enough, you can actually see a tiny image of the Lincoln statue inside the memorial building. One of the reasons collectors love Lincoln cents is that they are accessible to everyone. You do not need to spend thousands of dollars to start searching because these coins still circulate widely, meaning that anyone could potentially discover a valuable piece in their everyday change. Coin roll hunters often buy rolls of pennies from banks and carefully examine each coin looking for rare dates, unusual errors, and high-grade examples. The 2006 D cent sometimes appears in these searches, and when collectors find a sharply struck example with brilliant luster and minimal marks, the excitement is real because they know they may have discovered something special. Another reason this coin has attracted attention is the possibility of mint errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and other unusual minting anomalies that can dramatically increase value. Error coins are particularly popular among collectors because they represent unique moments during the minting process when something unexpected occurred. A Lincoln cent with a noticeable error can become far more valuable than a normal coin from the same year. The market for Lincoln cents continues to grow as new collectors join the hobby every year. Online auctions, coin shows, and professional grading services have made it easier than ever for collectors to identify, authenticate, and trade rare coins. Professional grading companies evaluate coins carefully and assign them grades based on condition, which helps establish their market value and ensures buyer confidence. When a modern coin like the 2060 Lincoln cent receives an extremely high grade from a respected grading service, its value can increase dramatically because collectors trust the certification and are willing to compete for the finest known examples. Over the years, many modern coins once considered ordinary have surprised the collecting world by reaching impressive prices, and that possibility keeps collectors searching through pocket change, coin jars, and bank rolls every day. The idea that a single penny could potentially be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars captures the imagination of both new and experienced collectors alike. The 2060 Liberty 1 cent reminds us that the world of coin collecting is full of hidden opportunities. Every coin carries a story of American history, craftsmanship, and economic change. Even in today's digital age where electronic payments dominate, physical coins remain powerful symbols of national heritage. For collectors, each Lincoln cent represents a connection to more than a century of American coinage tradition. That is why enthusiasts continue to study, preserve, and trade these coins with passion. As the market evolves and collectors search for the finest examples, coins like the 2060 Lincoln cent continue to gain attention and respect within the numismatic community. If you ever come across a bright and well-preserved 2060 penny, do not dismiss it too quickly because the coin you are holding might be more valuable than you think. Always examine your coins carefully, look for exceptional condition, unusual details, or mint errors, and consider having promising pieces evaluated by professional grading services. You never know when an ordinary-looking coin could turn out to be a remarkable discovery. Thank you for watching Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into a coin that millions of people have seen but very few truly understand the value of. The Liberty 1 cent 2013 may look like an ordinary penny at first glance, but behind its small copper-colored surface lies a story of American heritage, modern minting technology, and the exciting possibility that a single coin in your pocket could be worth an incredible amount of money in the collector's market. Many people overlook pennies every day, tossing them into jars or leaving them in drawers, never realizing that some of these coins have become highly sought-after treasures. The 2013 Liberty 1 cent is one of those coins that collectors are watching closely, and in rare conditions or special varieties its market value has been estimated at an astonishing $779,373, making it one of the most talked about modern pennies among serious coin hunters. The story of the 2013 Liberty 1 cent begins with the long tradition of the United States 1 cent coin, a symbol that has existed for more than 2 centuries. The modern penny design featuring the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln has been part of American currency since 1909, when it was introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Since that time, the Lincoln cent has gone through several design changes on the reverse side while maintaining the iconic profile of Lincoln on the front. By the time 2013 arrived, the penny had already become one of the most widely circulated coins in the United States, produced in massive quantities at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Even though billions of pennies are minted every year, collectors know that rarity is not always about how many were produced. Sometimes a small detail, an unusual mint error, or a perfectly preserved example can turn a common coin into a highly valuable collectible. When you examine the 2013 Liberty 1 cent closely, you will see the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln facing to the right, along with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above his portrait and "Liberty" placed on the left side. The year 2013 appears to the right of Lincoln, marking the coin's place in the modern era of United States coinage. Depending on where the coin was minted, you may also notice a small mint mark beneath the date, either AP for Philadelphia or AD for Denver. On the reverse side of the coin, the design introduced in 2010 continues to appear, featuring a detailed Union shield. This shield design represents the unity and strength of the United States, symbolizing the federal government protecting the nation, while the vertical stripes represent the states working together. Above the shield you can read the inscription "E pluribus unum," meaning "out of many one," while the words 1 cent appear prominently across the shield banner. Although this design may seem familiar to everyday Americans, collectors appreciate the symbolic meaning and craftsmanship that goes into every single coin. Now here is where the story becomes truly exciting for coin collectors and treasure hunters. While most 2013 pennies are only worth their face value of 1 cent, certain rare examples can be worth a fortune. Coins that are found in nearly perfect mint state condition, graded at the highest levels by professional grading companies, can command extremely high prices in auctions and private sales. In addition to condition, collectors are always searching for mint errors. These errors can occur during the minting process when a coin is struck incorrectly, producing unusual characteristics that make it unique. Examples include double die errors, off-center strikes, missing design elements, or unusual metal compositions. When a rare error appears on a modern coin like the 2013 Liberty 1 cent, collectors rush to acquire it because only a small number may exist. The coin market today has become more competitive than ever. Online auctions, collector conventions, and international buyers have dramatically increased demand for rare United States coins. Because of this growing interest, the potential market value of exceptional coins has reached astonishing levels. Experts estimate that a rare and perfectly preserved 2013 Liberty 1 cent with unique characteristics could reach a market value of $779,373. This incredible figure may sound unbelievable for a coin that originally circulated as everyday pocket change, but it highlights the power of rarity, condition, and collector demand in the numismatic world. Many collectors spend years searching through rolls of pennies from banks, hoping to discover one rare coin that could change everything. Another factor that increases the value of coins like the 2013 Liberty 1 cent is grading. Professional grading organizations carefully evaluate coins based on their condition, strike quality, luster, and preservation. Coins that receive the highest grades are extremely rare because even the smallest scratch or mark can lower the grade. When a coin achieves a near-perfect grade, collectors are willing to pay extraordinary prices because such coins represent the very best examples of modern minting. This is why collectors often store valuable coins in protective holders and keep them away from moisture, fingerprints, and environmental damage. The fascination with the Lincoln penny continues to grow each year. What makes this coin series so exciting is that almost anyone can participate in the search. Unlike ancient coins or rare gold pieces that may only exist in museums, Lincoln cents are still found in everyday circulation. This means that anyone who takes the time to examine their coins carefully could potentially discover something extraordinary. Imagine checking the change in your pocket or the jar in your home and finding a penny that collectors value at hundreds of thousands of dollars. Stories like this are what make coin collecting one of the most thrilling hobbies in the world. The 2013 Liberty 1 cent also represents the modern chapter of American coin history. It reflects the continued legacy of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected presidents in United States history. His portrait has remained on the penny for more than a century, making it the longest-running design in American coinage. Each new year of minting adds another piece to that history, and collectors enjoy building complete sets that include every date and mint mark. The 2013 coin is a reminder that even modern coins can become rare and valuable over time, especially when collectors recognize unique features or errors that set them apart. As the global coin market continues to expand, the demand for high-quality United States coins remains incredibly strong. Investors, historians, and collectors all contribute to the growing interest in rare coins. Some people collect coins to preserve history, while others see them as alternative investments that may increase in value over time. The possibility that a simple penny could reach a market value of $779,373 captures the imagination of collectors everywhere and encourages people to take a closer look at the coins they encounter every day. Here on Rare U.S. Coins we explore the stories behind these incredible pieces of American currency so that collectors and enthusiasts can better understand their potential value and history. The 2013 Liberty 1 cent reminds us that the smallest coin in American circulation can hold an extraordinary story and sometimes even an extraordinary fortune. So the next time you receive a penny in your change, take a moment to examine it carefully. Look at the date, check the mint mark, and study the details. You might just be holding a coin that collectors around the world would love to add to their collections. Thank you for joining Rare U.S. Coins.